Good morning, students. Welcome to the live virtual revisionary class. Today we are having first session and we are starting with CA Final Paper 3, Advanced Auditing Assurance and Professional Ethics. As we understand that this is the subject which is really practical based. Of course, you think theoretical, but it's very interesting, wherein you can score well. But the important steps for the same is first is preparation, second is revision. So I hope you have prepared for the January 26 examination. And now we are moving ahead with the next step, that is revision, right? So it's our first LVRC session. And you all are aware that our whole syllabus is divided into 19 chapters, and that is further subdivided into 5 sections, right? If we talk about sections, so one chapter that covers a whole section is very important, and that is our last but not least chapter, Professional Ethics and Liabilities of Auditor. So what we have done, we have started our revisionary class with the chapter 19, Professional Ethics and Liabilities of Auditors. And as you are aware, that is section 5, and weightage for the same is 20 to 27 marks. Means it is of 20 marks. So we cannot ignore this topic because it's very interesting, and it is like now you are chartered accountant, right? So when you are chartered accountant, what you can do or what you cannot, how you will be pursuing in future, that will not disrepute the profession, that will be in ethical manner. So all that is covered in our today's chapter, Professional Ethics and Liabilities of Auditors. Of course, in the live virtual revisionary classes, we will be covering all the 19 chapters, all the 5 sections. Our first section is engagement and quality control standard, right, which is covering maximum part, that we are going to cover at the end. Today we are going to cover today, and our next session is on Saturday. So we will be covering professional ethics and liabilities of auditors in these 2 classes. I hope you will be revising simultaneously. You will be practicing more and more questions. Maybe the questions which are given in the case scenario booklet, in the study material, or previous examination question papers, mock test paper, revisionary test papers, right? So you'll be practicing with the help of all the resources. And of course, you need to emphasize on writing practice also, because at the end in the examination, if we have practiced prior to that and analyze the same, that yes, what kind of mistakes we are doing, that we need to improvise further. So if you are having that practice, of course, in the examination, this will not be repeated and we will be able to get more than exemption marks. So it's very important that your revision is done very seriously. Secondly, you should know your syllabus, where to emphasize, how much writing practice you have done, and how much you have reviewed for further improvisation. Of course, Board of Studies is always there to help you, guide you. In case if you require any assistance, definitely you can reach to us. And I hope you all have downloaded the BOS mobile app, right? So there you will find Ask Your Query feature. Of course, after the chapter is covered, the notes will be there, assignments will be there, which you can practice, right? And after this, we will be covering simultaneously section 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is last section 5, right? In section 2 and 4, we are having one chapter again. Chapter Digital Auditing and Assurance is forming part of section 2. That is again minimum 4 to 6 marks weightage. Section 4 is ESG audit, and that is chapter 18, and again weightage is 4 to 6 marks. In section 3 we are having all miscellaneous topics, right? Audit of bank, NBFC, internal audit, audit of PSU, investigation, due diligence, forensic audit. So all those chapters are covered in section 3. So this way our whole syllabus is designed, so not taking much of the time. Since it's our first revisionary class, I want you all to prepare your notes, right? So that when you are going for paper, you are able to revise thoroughly and you need to have more practice in writing. So we'll be connecting again at the end of the session. Till the time, we are having a learned faculty. He is CA Harshad Tekwani, and he will be taking you through the journey of professional ethics and liabilities of auditors. So over to you, Harshad.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first session of the LVRC. Students, as ma'am said, this chapter is one of the very important chapter because this chapter alone has a very good weightage in your entire syllabus for the paper 3. Now, when I say this particular chapter, chapter number 19, professional ethics and the liabilities of auditor, what it covers, what it has. So, before we deep dive into the chapter, we do a quick revision. We need to understand what this chapter has, how to do a quick revision of this chapter. See, this chapter I usually divide into three parts. Part number one basically talks about more onto the fundamental principles and the ethical principles for an auditor and for a chartered accountant. Okay, so that is your part one in this particular chapter. That is fundamental principles, you can say. Part two in the chapter I that usually divide is based on the acts and the, you can say, sections which are there in the charter accountants acts. Okay, which is applicable to a charter accountant who is in practice, who is a member, who is into, service to them, to everyone. So those are the provisions of the act, I would say. Part 3 basically is nothing but the schedules to the CA Act. Okay, those schedules like which define what is a misconduct, what is a professional misconduct, what is the other misconduct, disciplinary mechanism. Schedules plus the disciplinary mechanism, you can say, is a third part. Okay, now there are council general guidelines. Now there are different guidelines that we need to understand along with that. So that you can say comes in a part 3, and that's a very important part, and that has a very a good amount of weightage also. Okay, so this is how the entire chapter is divided. What I will suggest to each and every student who is watching this is, number one, take the notes with me. Reason because these notes are kind of the notes that you will refer back before a day of exam. Okay, these notes are kind for a quick revision notes. So this will really help you when you will do a quick revision of topic. Second, when we will be discussing, I expect you guys you have read this chapter because these are the revisionary lectures. I want you guys to have a good understanding or reading, at least reading of this chapter and the study material. We will be using study material thoroughly in this particular chapter. It is well drafted. It contains all things that we need to study. Okay, so I hope you guys have read it. Number three, after the session or during the session, you can ask your doubts, and after the session also you can ask your doubts in the subsequent sessions. But you need to ask your doubts to clarify, whatever doubts you have. That will really help you in understanding the topics. Number four, that is the practice of the questions, as ma'am said. We will be doing a lot of practice of questions over here, and I expect that you guys also do more practice of the questions which are given in the study material, which are given in the MTP, RTP, and different sources. Okay, so this is how I plan or I expect from you guys to carry on this particular topic also along with me. Okay, so without wasting further time, let's start the discussion on chapter number 19. So, as I said, I hope you guys have already gone through the chapter. So, chapter we will starting with the part 3 first. That the schedules and the disciplinary mechanism which is given in this particular chapter and which is basically schedules to the CA Act. Okay. Now, what are these schedules to the CA Act and how they are divided? So, basically, if you see, they are divided into two schedules. There is the first schedule to the CA Act, and there's a second schedule to the CA Act. Okay. Can anyone quickly tell me how many parts do we have in the first schedule? Quickly. Oh, no? Okay, so we have four parts: part 1, part 2, 3, and 4 in the first schedule. How many parts do we have in second schedule? Can anyone tell me quickly? Very good, Samanathan. Yes. So you have part 1, part 2, and part 3. Three parts: 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now, a lot of students ask a simple question. Sir, are we required to remember the clause number? Answer is yes. Are we required to remember the part number? Answer is yes. With the schedule number. Now, the most and like a frequent mistake that I have seen students doing is writing wrongly the part number in the first schedule. Do not write schedule 1, or do not write schedule Roman 1, okay, or one schedule, something like that. No, these are the wrong way of writing it. Similar with the part, like parts are in a Roman 1, 2, 3, 4. Do not write part dash, 1 part, 2 part, or first part. So most of students, they do is first part. No, that is wrong. There is no such reference in the act. The act specifically says part 1, the first schedule. Okay. So make sure when you are writing, you are making sure that the terms are not different than what they are in the act itself. Okay, it is a part of the act. Okay. Now that is the one thing that we should not be writing, like schedule 1 or schedule Roman 1 or first part. Now my second question to all of you is, how many clauses do we have in part 1? How many clauses do we have? Anyone? Very good, Khushi. Very good, Samanathan. Yes. So we have 12 clauses in part 1. Part 2, how many clauses do we have? Very good, Samanathan. 2 clauses. Part 3, quickly. How many clauses do we have? 3 clauses. Very good. Part 4, quickly. Part 4. Yes, Khushi. Very good. 2 clauses. Okay. So part 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 clauses, 3 clauses, 2 clauses. So in total, if you see, it has uh, 19 clauses in part 1. Sorry, first schedule. Now in this first schedule, the part 1 basically is the professional misconduct which is applicable to a charter accountant in practice. So basically this is applicable to a charter accountant in practice. We will see when we will do a quick clause revision. At that point in time also, we'll see the same. Okay. Part 2 is applicable to whom? Quickly, part 2 is applicable to whom? If you have read the chapter, you will be knowing this. First schedule, part 2. Very good. It is applicable to a member of institute in service. Member in service. Part 3. Quickly. Part 3 is applicable to members of the institute generally. Part 4. Same. Members of institute generally. Okay. To applicable to all the members. Now then, what is the difference between 3 and 4? 3 and 4. Why do we have two parts for the member of institute, which is applicable generally to all the members? The answer is the first 3 parts talks about professional misconduct. The fourth part talks about other misconduct. Now, what is the difference between professional misconduct and other misconduct? Can anyone quickly tell me why we have a two different type of misconduct? One is professional and other, and what difference it will make? What difference it will make? Quickly. Anyone? No? Okay. So now the difference that it will be there with respect to the misconduct will be based on, like, if there is a other misconduct, then the disciplinary action will be taken accordingly. If it is a professional misconduct, then the disciplinary action will be taken accordingly. So when we will go through the disciplinary actions and the mechanism quickly, at that point in time we will understand that how it differs when it comes to the other misconduct and professional misconduct. Clear? So it directly is related to the, the disciplinary mechanisms as they work. Okay. Now, that was your first schedule. Any doubt with first schedule? Like part one, two, three, four. This is just a summary. We will go through in detail. Don't worry on that. Any doubt? No? Okay. If no doubt, then quickly we'll do a quick summary of part two also. Second schedule also. Second schedule, part one. So, how many clauses do we have? 10 clauses. Very good. Part two. Now, here the thing starts. Part two. How many clauses do we have? Okay. Most of us refer to four. Okay, four clauses, but I will do plus one. There is a reason why I'm doing plus one that I'll explain when I'll go to the particular clause. Okay. Part three. How many clause? Uh, how many clauses we have? Generally only one. Okay. So this is the structure of second schedule. Again, part one and two. So part one is applicable to professional misconduct for CA in practice. CA in practice, professional misconduct. Part 2 is applicable to members in general. You don't have the way we have in first schedule members in service, you don't have that. But there is a one specific clause in part 2 itself that we will talk about, which is applicable to members in service. Part 3, only one clause, which is with respect to the other misconduct. Okay, again, members in general, but this is with respect to the other misconduct. So similarly, these two particular parts talks about professional misconduct, and this particular part talks about other misconduct. Okay, this is how the entire first schedule and second schedule is there in the CA Act. Okay, now there are various sections because of which, or where from where we refer to this particular schedule. So if you see, there are section 21, 21A, 21B, okay, 22, which refers back to these particular schedules for the definition and for the type of misconduct. Okay, now we will go and we will do a quick kind of revision of all these schedules, okay, of these two schedules and all the parts. Okay. Okay. Now, what we will do is we'll start with the first schedule. And along with the schedules, we will be taking up questions to understand these schedules. The first schedule and the part one. Part one, professional misconduct. which is applicable to CA in practice. Okay. Now tell me, what is the first clause about? Can anyone tell me? Clause number one. In this, what is the clause number one? What is clause number one? Anyone?
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Allow any person to practice in his name as CA unless such person is also having a certificate of practice in partnership or the employed with him.
Yes, absolutely correct. Very good. So the clause one talks about that if you allow anyone to practice in your name, in that case you will be held guilty of professional misconduct, deemed to be held guilty of professional misconduct. Okay. So quickly we'll write it. Clause one. Allow to practice in his name. Okay. Now the important part is allowed to practice in his name. Now for a, when we will discuss a particular clause, we will also discuss about the exceptions to to that particular clause. Something is allowed. If you do that particular part, you will not be held guilty, deemed to be held guilty of professional misconduct. What is this? Unless such person is a chartered accountant in practice, or and it's in the partnership or employed with you. So unless such person is a chartered accountant, so exception here is if that person who is practicing in your name is a CA in practice, plus CA in practice, and either he is in partnership with you or he is employed. So he should be in partnership or employed, then only he can practice in your name. Okay, otherwise he cannot practice in your name. So the exception is that he should be CA in practice, and after that he should be partnership and employed. Clear? Okay. So the question comes is, now let's say for example, if there is a chartered accountant who is not in practice, who is not in practice, who wants to do work in name of my firm, who wants to do work in name of my firm, can he do it? The question arises if he is the only CA, not CA in practice. If he is only CA, not CA in practice, can he do work in the name of my firm? Not allowed. See, when I talk about practice, it's a kind of a wide term where he is, soliciting, he is kind of, getting the work, signing the reports. A lot of things is included in that. So this term has a lot more importance. That's why you can only allow a chartered accountant in practice to practice in your name. Otherwise, you cannot. And we will see what is deemed to be in practice. We'll go to those definitions to understand in some time. But as of now, remember, allowed to practice can only be done by CA in practice. If it is not a CA in practice, he cannot do a practice in your name. Okay. So quickly, clause 2. What is clause 2? What is clause 2? Anyone? It should be easy, quick and easy. Clause 2. No? Is it difficult? Okay, let me tell you then. So clause 2 basically, yeah, very good, Samanathan. Uh, okay, not an issue. Let me check with that. Let me see. Yes. So what is clause 2?
Sir, the CA in practice who allows or agrees to pay or directly or indirectly any share or commission or progress to the other professional, other than with respect to regulation 53A, the professionals.
Yes, very good. Absolutely correct. So if you pay or agree to pay commission to anyone, so as of now, we will take the term commission, but it includes a lot of things. It's not only commission. Okay. The clause in depth says that if you pay or allow or agree to pay directly or indirectly any share, commission, or brokerage in the fees, okay, which is kind of like could be in the nature of profit for his professional business, okay, to any person other than, we will see, so in that case you will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Okay, now we need to understand what are these particular categories where it is allowed and where it is not allowed. Okay, so we will do a quick summary. Pays, pays or agree to pay commission. Now I will write the commission here for the summary purpose, but it is not only the commission. Remember that it includes commission, brokerage, in the fees of brokerage in the fees or profit of his professional business. So it includes some multiple things. Okay, now to any person other than, we will see the exceptions, but to any person. Okay, now there are certain exceptions, that means that is allowed. If you pay to them, that will be fine. Now, what are these exceptions? So, the clause specifically provides that if you pay to any person other than the member of the institute, or a partner, or a retired partner, or the legal representative of the deceased partner, or any other person, okay, or you can say, or a member or any other professional body. So we will see what are these member of any other professional bodies, okay, or any other person with such qualification as may be prescribed. We will see these two terms, very important one, but as of now we will just summarize first. So member, partner, retired partner, legal representative of the deceased partner, okay, then specified person. Now, the two categories that I was talking about, I will, as of now, keep in the specified person. That either they are the member of any other professional body, or they are the person having such qualification. So I will keep them in the specified person category. There is no as such category in the act itself. This is something for my quick understanding and for the quick note purpose, that I'm saying specified person, but there is nothing specified person in the act itself. Okay, now when I talk about these specified people who are there, or specified person who are there, they are the member of any other professional body, or you can say that having such other qualification. Now institute has already prescribed these who are the members of any other professional body, and who are the specified people that I'm talking about. For that, there is a regulation. Can anyone tell me quickly the regulation number? We will go to that, but anyone?
53A, sir.
Absolutely correct. Regulation 53A. Regulation 53A talks about the professional bodies which are prescribed, and the members of those professional bodies will be covered over here. So, in your study material on page number 19.44, quickly, you have the list of professional bodies in the regulation 53A, which says that like these are the professional bodies: Institute of Company Secretaries of India, Institute of Cost and Works Accountants of India, Bar Council, Institute of Architects, Institute of Actuaries. Okay, so that is 53A1, which is the professional bodies we are talking about. Okay, that is member of any other professional body. So the member of any other professional bodies, these are the professional bodies. And if there is any member of these bodies, it will be kind of, remember, specified person. You can share with them. That is allowed. You can share with them. Now the second category is with such other persons having such qualifications and will be prescribed. Now, can anyone tell me where these qualifications are prescribed? Under which regulation these qualifications are prescribed?
Again, 53A, sir, Chartered Accountant Regulation Act, 1988.
Okay, regulation 53A. Very good. Yes. Yes, it's in the regulation 53A3. Okay. So regulation 53A3, again on page 19.45, if you see, it has been given beautifully that the regulation 53A3 talks about the person qualified in India. Okay. So having such qualification, basically. So you have these person: company secretary, cost accountant, actuary, bachelor's in engineering, technology, architect, bachelor's in law, master's in business administration. So these are the persons having such qualification which is prescribed in regulation 53A. Okay, persons having such qualifications as may be prescribed. So 53A1 and 53A3 define the specified people that I'm talking about, that they are the ones with whom you can share the fee, commission, or fees as a commission or brokerage. You can pay them, or you can allow or agree to pay them. Okay, so that is the clause 2. Now can anyone quickly tell me why we have legal representative of a deemed partner in this? Why do we have this one? Anyone? Why do we have a legal representative or deemed partner involved in this? Anyone quickly?
Sir, as per the partnership agreement date, it contains that on the any profit sharing with to him, and the deceased person will receive until such time where it is specified.
Yes, absolutely. So when there is a partnership agreement, at the time one particular partner dies, at that point in time you have to pay that amount, or as if agreement provides, you can pay that amount to the legal representative. Now legal representative might not be a member of institute with such qualifications, or with with such degrees. In that case, we have a specific provision for the legal representative of the deceased partner. Plus, if you are going to purchase the goodwill from the deceased partner, in that case you have to pay to them, and because of that this is allowed over here. So if you purchase, if there are if you purchase the goodwill, now the goodwill can be purchased in the partnership firm also, can be purchased from a proprietorship firm also. Okay, so in that case you can pay to the partner, or the legal representative of the partner, or the legal representative of that proprietor. Okay, when you are purchasing the goodwill from them, that's why it is allowed over here. Clear? Any doubt with this? Yes, no?
Clear, sir.
Okay, so that is regulation 53A3 plus regulation 53A3 and A1. Okay. So that was your clause 2. Now clause 3 quickly. What is clause 3? What is clause 3?
Sir, accept or agree to accept any part or profit or provision other than the person members is prescribed in Regulation 53A.
Yes, absolutely correct. So if you see the clause 3, it talks about accepts or agree to accept any part of the profit of the professional work of a person, okay, who is not a member of institute. Now there are again exceptions to this, but if you accept or agree to accept, for a quick summary, we will write accept or agree to accept, okay, commission from anyone. As of now we will write anyone because we will cover rest of them in the exceptions. Okay, if you accept or agree to accept commission from anyone, then you will be held guilty of, deemed to be held guilty of professional misconduct again. So we'll go to the exceptions. Now what are these exceptions? Basically, we'll quickly go to the clause 3 and understand in detail. Okay, so it says that if you accept, okay, from a person who is not a member of institute, see, accept or agree to accept any parts of the profits of professional work of a person who is not a member of institute. Now one, if you accept from a member of institute, fine, okay. Number two, if you enter in a profit sharing arrangement or similar arrangement where you are receiving or brokerage or commission with a member of such professional bodies or other persons having qualification as referred in item 2 or clause 2, then it is fine. Then it is fine. Means if we are accepting from a member of institute, if we are accepting from member of institute, or if we are accepting from the specified person, that's why I categorize them, because I can quickly use this particular term where I will be meaning by 53A1 and 53A3. Specified person, if I accept from specified person, if I accept from member of institute, in that case it is fine. I will not be held deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct. Okay, so 53A1 plus 53A3. Clear? Any doubt? Straightforward. This particular part is straightforward. So whatever is allowed by clause 2 with respect to the profit sharing arrangement is fine with clause 3 also. Okay, quickly. What is clause 4? What is clause 4 talks about?
Sir, if we enter into partnership by that CA in practice with the professional who is possessed the certificate of practice, the CA, and as prescribed by Regulation 53B. Some of the
Regulation. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely correct. So clause 4 talks about if you enter into a partnership in India, outside India, okay, both are covered, with any person other than the CA in practice or such other person who is not the member of a professional body having such qualifications as may be prescribed, including a resident, but for whose residence abroad would be entitled to register as a member, okay, or whose qualification are recognized by the central government or by the council for the purpose of permitting partnerships. In that case, you will be deemed to be held guilty of professional misconduct. Now, so clause 4 basically takes care of two things. One, you enter into a partnership. Then there is an exception is one, you enter into a partnership with a person who is a chartered accountant in practice. So that is fine. So we will quickly write the summary for this one. Clause 4. Okay. So if you enter into a partnership, entering into partnership, okay, with anyone is basically you will be deemed to be held guilty of professional misconduct. But again, the exceptions are there. So the first exception is CA in practice. So the first exception is CA in practice. Now the second exception over here is specified person. Now, but there is a small change we will look into in the specified person definition, or the term how is it defined in the act itself. Okay, what it says. So if you see on page number 19.47, if you see clause 4, it talks about with a member who is a member of any other professional body having such qualifications as may be prescribed. Till that time, till now, what we were using the term is members of such professional bodies. Okay, members of such professional bodies. Now we are using who is a member of any other professional body having such qualifications as may be prescribed, or whose qualifications are recognized by the central government or the council for the purpose of permitting partnerships. Okay, now we need to look into the members and the qualification for the first part, and second, specific qualifications allowed. Okay, specific qualifications allowed. So member of any other professional body having such qualification, that means your regulation 53A3. This is nothing but your regulation 53A3. This is prescribed in 53A3, but whose qualifications are recognized by central government. Okay, or you can say here, like whose qualification are recognized by the central government or council for the purpose of permitting such partnerships, are also described in regulation 53B. Regulation 53B prescribes memberships of the following professional bodies with whom you can enter into a partnership. Okay, so it provides the details of the memberships of professional body. If a member is there, then yes, you can enter into a partnership based on the regulation 53B. That is company secretary. If he's a company secretary, he's a member of Institute of Chartered Accountants. So this is kind of, you can see, qualification plus membership of the institute. Okay, or I will use the term rather professional body. So this is the qualification, this is the membership, and this is the professional body. Qualification, member, professional body. Qualification, member, professional body. So advocate, member of bar council. Engineer, member of Institute of Engineering. Architect, member of Institute of Indian Institute of Architects. Actuary, member of the Institute for Actuaries. That means this particular part, member of any other professional body having such qualification. So qualification, member, and professional body is also given in your 53B. So 53A3 is already we have seen about the qualifications, only qualifications: company secretary, cost accountant, actuary, bachelor in engineering technology, architect, bachelor in law, masters in business administration. That is already we have seen. That is the qualification prescribed by the council or central government. Okay, as may be prescribed for the purpose of rendering, that we saw in the clause 2 also. So that qualifications part, regulation 53A3 plus now regulation 53B also prescribes a list with whom you can enter into a partnership, provided they should be member plus they should have the qualification. Not only the qualification, not only the membership, but both. Okay, so specified person for the purpose of clause 4 is your regulation 53A3, which is qualification, plus 53B, which is your membership, qualification, and professional body. Membership, qualification, and professional body. Okay, that is your regulation 53B. Clear? So if you enter into a partnership with them, perfectly fine. Any doubt?
Sir, I have small doubt here that in regulation 53B, that MPA and that Bachelor of Technology is not there. Whether they are allowed in the partnership?
No. So yes, you are allowed to enter into a partnership with them because it says two things. One, sorry, one where either the person should have such qualifications which are recognized by the central government or council for permitting such partnership, or the person should be a member of any other professional body having such qualifications. So whose qualifications are recognized, that means MBA is covered in that, so that is fine. So the condition here is or. If you see, it talks about or. So that is fine. If the person is covered by 53A3, perfectly fine. I hope I'm clear.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Any other doubts? Any other doubts? Okay. Now, one important question I will ask from everyone. So we'll quickly jump through a particular scenario. I'll ask a question in a form of a scenario. Then you tell me whether this is fine or not. Kind of a quick revision what we have seen now. Mr. A, CA in practice, entered into a partnership with Mr. B, who is CA, okay, generally member of institute. When I say institute, it's a Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Okay, do not mix up with any other institute. If I have to refer any other institute, I'll say professional body. Okay, Mr. A enter into a partnership with Mr. B. Now tell me, this particular partnership is fine with clause 4? Yes or no?
No, sir. He is not the member only, but he is not having a COP.
So can we cover this person under regulation 53A3 or 53B?
No, sir. They are not covered in regulation 53A or B, but it's covered in the main class itself. That class number 4 itself, it's talking about chartered accountant in practice.
Yes, very good. See, that's where we need to have understanding of the clause in detail. When I specifically say chartered accountant in practice, other than the chartered accountant in practice and specified person, okay, I specifically have mentioned C in practice over here. The reason, because if that person is not in practice, if the person is only a member of the institute, you cannot enter into a partnership. You cannot enter into the partnership. That is straightforward. The thing, the requirement is pretty much clear. He has to be a chartered accountant in practice. No member is allowed. Regulation 53A, 53A3. If you see 53A3, it does not cover member generally, member of institute. You will not find CA who is a member of institute in this 53A3. Neither you will find a member of institute in regulation 53B, member of institute of chartered accountants in India. No, you will not find. So if he is a member of institute, he has to be in practice by default. For that, if you want to enter into a partnership, okay, I'll change the question bit now. I don't want to enter into a partnership. I dropped my idea. After understanding the clause 4 in detail, I dropped my idea. Now, Mr. B wants to pay me an amount. Like I said, okay, fine, I'll not enter into a partnership. You pay me the, commission, or you can say brokerage in the fees. So he's ready to pay me the commission. Is it fine?
Yes, sir, that is fine, sir, because that certificate of COP is not mentioned in that particular class, class 2.
Okay. So clause 2 will be applicable, or any other clause will be applicable?
When we are paying the commission, brokerage or profit shares, it will cover under the class 2 only.
Okay. So CA in practice is receiving the commission here.
So clause 3 is applicable.
Absolutely. So clause 3 will be applicable because CA in practice is receiving. Member of institute is paying. As of now, we are discussing part 1. So clause 3 is applicable. Do you think it is permissible by clause 3?
Yes, sir, it's
Yes.
permissible, sir.
Yes, very good. So clause 3, when we were discussing clause 3, I specifically used the term member. I did not use the term CA in practice. The reason, because over there, if you accept commission from a member, that is fine. So if you accept or agree to accept from any other person who is not a member, means if you accept from a member of institute, fine with that. This is not equal to CA in practice. Means, both terms are different. Do not mix up these terms. In exam, this small difference or hairline difference will make a lot of, will change your answer entirely. Similarly, in clause 4, when I talk about chartered accountant in practice, this is not equal to member of institute. Those terms are different. Okay. So remember these small things that will drastically change your answer. So member of institute is allowed. If he pays to you or you pay to him, fine, not an issue. But if you enter into a partnership, it is not allowed. Now, can anyone tell me the reason why it is so? Why we have this particular kind of scenario? Why it is so? Anyone, quickly. If you have gone through, you will be already aware why it is so. Why do we not allow a member of institute to be a partner, but we allow them, or we allow paying them or receiving from them, but we can't enter into a partnership with them unless and until they are seen in practice?
Yes, sir, unless otherwise the person has the certificate of practice, he cannot sign the report.
Absolutely correct. Very good. Signing the report. Now we'll go to the clause 1. The answer lies in the clause 1 itself. Clause 1, what it says that allow to practice in any allows anyone to practice in his name. So if he is your partner, okay, so what was the requirement for this particular clause? That only a person can practice who is a chartered accountant in practice. Okay, who is a chartered accountant in practice, that person can only be allowed. Or like which is either a partner or employed by you, but he has to be CA in practice. So if he's not a CA in practice, you cannot allow him. Okay, you cannot allow him. Now if we allow a CA, like who is in just a member, okay, to be in my partner, don't you think it will be a conflict with clause 1 itself? Now in clause 1, I'm saying that okay, I shall only allow a CA in practice to practice in my name, who should be partner and employed both. But on the other hand, I'm saying if I allow a member to be a partner, then I'm saying, okay, he can be a partner, but he cannot practice in my name. Then how can be a partner? So there will be a conflict. Plus, who can sign the audit report? So there is something on the signing also we will see in some time, that who are allowed to sign the audit report. So one such clause is there on the signing of the audit report. So that will also create trouble, because over there we use or we allow partners to sign. Now if member is a partner who is not in practice, if we allow them to sign, again there is a problem, there's a conflict. That's why we have a specific requirement that only member in practice or the CA in practice shall be allowed for the partnership. Clear? Any doubt?
Clear, sir.
Okay, great. So that was clause 1 to 4 that we discussed till now. Any doubt with clause 1 to 4? Any doubt with clause 1 to 4? No? Okay. If no doubts, let's proceed ahead with clause 5. Then we will take up some more questions on these clauses, because once we have covered till clause 5, we have covered a good section of a particular clause. Okay. What is clause 5? Quickly, can anyone tell me? Clause 5.
Sir, secure the service by the CA in practice, other than the employee or the partner of CA, or the which is not open to the CA in practice.
Okay. Yes, very good. So if you secure either through the service of a person who is not an employee or who is not a partner, or by any means which are not open to a chartered accountant, in that case you will be deemed to be held guilty professional misconduct. Okay. So for a summary purpose, what we will write is that if you secure professional work, secure professional work through anyone or means not open to a CA. Again, we have exception. We have exception over here. What is the exception over here? That if that particular person, okay, is an employee, that is fine. Employee should be fine for us. Employee of such chartered accountant, it's fine. Who is a partner? Fine for us. If he's a partner, perfectly fine for us. Okay. And any arrangement which is fine as per clause 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Arrangement okay as per clause 2, 3, and 4. That is also fine as per 5. That means if you enter into a partnership with the person specified in regulation 53B and you secure a work, fine. So 53A 1, fine. 53A 3, fine. Yes. Okay. So which is allowed by clause 2, 3, and 4 shall not be restricted by clause 5. And employee and partner, they are also fine. So if you secure professional work through employee partner arrangements which are okay as per clause 2, 3, and 4, fine as per 5 also. So in your study material, secures through the service of a person who is not an employee. So employee is fine for us. Employee of such chartered accountant is fine for us. Who is not a partner, so partner is fine for us. Or means which are not open to chartered accountant. Any professional business, any professional business. Okay, so remember this term. We are not only talking about attestation work. We are talking about any professional business. This includes a wide array of services. Okay. Now, which
We
are
are talking about any professional business.
yeah. Any doubt? Anyone? Okay. So now the second thing is means which are not open to a charter accountant. What are these means? Can anyone tell me when I say that means which are not open to a charter accountant? What are these? How can you identify these are the means not open to a charter accountant? Quickly. How can you say these are the means not open to a charter accountant? Anyone? No? So, to understand these things, means not open to a chartered accountant, we will do a detailed discussion when we will reach to clause number 6 and 7. So, as of now, you can park it. So, clause number 6 and 7. Over there, we will discuss in detail what are these means which are not open to a chartered accountant. Or the things when I talk about means not open to a chartered accountant means any arrangement which is not permitted as per the act, regulations, council general guidelines, or anything which is not specifically permitted to them, you can say. So arrangements not permitted to CA in practice as per the CA Act, regulations, council general guidelines, okay, various other guidelines. So if there is something which is not permitted, that means it's not open to a charter accountant. That means it's not open. There is a detailed discussion on that in 6 and 7, but again, for an overall understanding, that means which is generally not open to a CA. Clear? Any doubt?
No, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay. If clear, then let's quickly take up some questions on these topics so that we can understand. And I will discuss now also a part where we will understand how to write the answer of these questions in exam. Okay. Let me share. So we will read the question and then we will discuss further on this question. Okay. Just let me know if you do not hear the sound. If you hear the sound, fine. If you do not hear the sound, just let me know.
CA. Ambitious, who recently set up his practice as Ambitious and Associates, was finding it challenging to secure statutory audit assignments. He was introduced to Mr. Bislink, a prominent management consultant who was not a member of the ICAI but had extensive connections in the corporate world. They entered into an oral agreement whereby Mr. Bislink would refer potential clients seeking statutory audit services to CA. Ambitious. In return for every successful referral that resulted in an appointment, CA. Ambitious agreed to pay Mr. Bisling 10% of the first year's audit fee as a business development fee. Following this arrangement, Mr. Bisling referred a growing company, Next General PVT Limited, to CA. Ambitious. The firm was subsequently appointed as the statutory auditor for a fee of 8 lakhs rupees. As per their agreement, CA. Ambitious paid 80,000 rupee to Mr. Bisling through a check and recorded the expense as marketing and referral expenses in his firm's books of account. Analyze the arrangement between CA. Ambitious and Mr. Bisling and conclude whether CA. Ambitious is liable for any professional misconduct under the Chartered Accountants Act, 1949, and the schedules thereto.
Okay, so this is a question where there is a CA and there is a Mr. Bisling. They have some agreement. So quickly read the questions and tell me, what do you think? Is there any problem in this? Is there any problem in this arrangement? If yes, then tell me what is the problem. If no, then tell me. Like, it is fine and we will discuss further. Okay, very good, Khushi.
Yes, sir, there is a problem in this. The
Hmm.
Bisling is a management consultant who is not a member of ICAI and
Hmm.
also is not the part of the regulation 53A. The thing is, so he is paid that commission to that, pay or allows to pay. Say class 2 will attract
Hmm. Okay.
professional misconduct.
Okay. Yes, clause 2 will attract. Very good. So you are paying fees to someone. Okay. And here it is being paid 10% of the first year's audit fee. First year's audit fee you are paying to someone, okay, as a like who is not a member of institute or person having such qualifications. Remember, so the requirement was that person should have such qualifications as per regulation 53A1, or he should be member of any other professional body or member of institute or a deemed partner, a legal representative of the deemed partner, retired partner. So those were fine. But if he is none of them, in that case you cannot pay, even allow or agree to pay directly, indirectly, any commission or brokerage which is in the nature of fees. Okay, brokerage in the fees or profits of a business, professional business, to to those person, whether in India or outside India. So in this particular scenario, a fees is being paid 10%, brokerage in the fees is being paid to Bizlink, who is not a member of institute. As a result, clause 2 will get attracted. Yes, absolutely correct. But there is something more that will also be being attracted. There is one more thing. So, yes, Khushi, very good, absolutely correct. Clause 5. As I specifically said, that if something is not permissible as per the arrangement that we have already discussed, it is also a means which is not open to a chartered accountant. You can say that. So he's securing the professional work through the means which are not open to a chartered accountant. Okay. Clause 5, what it talks about? It talks about basically the means which are not open to a chartered accountant. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So, as per clause 2 and 5, like if you write only 2, then it's a problem. It's a half of the answer. It should be 2 and 5, both. Because 5 talks about securing through the service of a person who is not an employee, partner, or by means which are not open to any chartered accountant. And it is not fine as per the 2, 3, and 4. See, if it was a fine as per the 2, it would be a fine as per clause 5, but it is not. Okay. So the correct answer is 2 and 5 as of now. We will see more clauses and we will discuss are there any chances of being, more clauses getting attracted. But as of now, the answer will be clause 2 and 5 both will be attracted. Now the question comes is how to write the answer. How we have to write the answer about this particular scenario. Okay. So when you are going to write the answer for this particular question, there is an approach I recommend to every student. The approach is like this. First, specify the provision. Okay, like what is we are talking about? We are talking about clause 2 and 5 of part 1 of first schedule of CA Act. Now, this particular thing, mentioning the entire line, this clause number, then part number, then schedule number, then the CA Act is mandatory. You have to specify these sections. This is the clause part. This is the part. This is the schedule. And this is the act. Okay. These elements are necessary. I cannot write clause 2 and 5 of CA Act. No. Incorrect. I cannot write clause 2 and 5 of first schedule. Incorrect. Because part 1 also has clause 2 and 5. Part 2 also has clause 2. Part 3 also has clause 2. So which part I'm referring to? If I miss the schedule, first schedule, it can be second schedule. Clause 2 and 5 of part 1 of which schedule? It can be second also. So it will not give clarity about what thing you are speaking. You have to specifically provide that which clause, then part, then schedule, and then act. So the structure we generally call is CPSA. Clause, part, schedule, and act is something you need to specify when you are referring to clauses in your answer. Specify the clause, what clause says. Okay, write about the clause and then do the analysis. Like, what is the analysis of the question? What question contains? Do not repeat the entire question. Some might think, some students, what they do is they copy paste the entire question. They rewrite the entire question. It is not an analysis. Analysis is it you break down the words of the question to identify the critical matter about which the question is. Okay. And then you provide the conclusion that as per clause 2 and 5 of first schedule of CA Act, CA Ambitious is guilty of professional misconduct. Deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct. Okay. So how I structured my answer is into the sections, which is first section, which is the provision, where I'm specifying the provision. Second section is the analysis, where I'm analyzing the question itself, the critical components of the question about which the question is. And the third part is the conclusion based on the provision, based on the analysis. Now I'm concluding whether CA that or the anyone in the question is guilty of professional misconduct or not. This is how you need to write the answer. Clear? Any doubt with this? Any doubt with this particular question? Yes.
No, sir.
No?
No, thank you.
Okay. If no doubts, let us take one more question uh, for the better understanding of the topic. Okay. Just give me a minute. Okay. So let us read this particular question quickly. So for the better understanding of the topic, and then we will take the answer.
CA Visionary, a chartered accountant in practice, believed that providing a
bit of fast. Yeah.
stop solution for businesses was the future. He entered into a partnership with Mr. Excel, who holds an MBA in finance from a reputed university but is not a member of the ICAI or any other professional body whose members are permitted to partner with chartered accountants under the regulations. They formed a firm named Visionary and Excel Corporate Solutions. The firm's letterhead listed both their names and qualifications, CA Visionary, B.com, FCA, and Mr. Excel, MBA, Finance. The firm offered a wide range of services, including management consultancy, project financing, and statutory services. The terms of their partnership deed stipulated that the profits and losses arising from all professional services, including the fees from statutory audit and other attest functions conducted in the name of CA Visionary, would be shared between them in the ratio of 60-40. Examine the validity of this partnership arrangement and comment on whether CA Visionary is guilty of professional misconduct with reference to the provisions of the Chartered Accountants Act, 1949, and the schedules thereto. 5 marks.
Okay. So this is the question. Take a minute, read the question, and then try to answer. So take a minute, read the question, and then try to answer. Okay, tell me. So what do you think in this scenario?
Sir, in this case, entering class 4 will attract, sir. Actually, as per the regulation 53A,
Mhm.
the prescribed MPA is prescribed to have a partnership.
Mhm.
But the thing is that as of now, the council is not provided to form a multidisciplinary form. So, even though it is a regulation 53A is allowed to have a partnership with the MPA, till now that institute is not allowed to form a multidisciplinary firm with others. So hence it's guilty of professional misconduct under class 4.
Okay, guilty of professional misconduct under clause 4. Anyone else with some different answer? See, here we need to go back and understand with respect to the clause itself, what it says and what the question says. There are few small differences in the question and the clause. That's where things come up. That's where the things change. Anyone? Okay, so let's go quickly understand first. Okay, do a quick some revision of what clause 3 says, or let's say clause 4. What clause 4 says? What is the requirement of clause 4? What is the requirement of clause 4?
Sir, you enter into the partnership in or outside India with a person other than the CA in practice, or such person is prescribed.
Okay, and which are the person who are prescribed?
Sir, prescribed by person as per the regulation 53A. There are 7 persons are there, including
Hmm.
which includes the MPA as well.
Okay, okay,
But the thing is that as of now, that institute is not allowing to the open to the multidisciplinary form.
okay,
So that is a only one reason in this having the partnership with the MPA is not permitted as of now. Even though he is prescribed under the regulation 53A.
okay. So see, now in this question particularly, we are saying MBA is included. Okay, MBA is included. Now we'll go back to the clause 4 again. Let me take you to the clause 4 and we'll discuss on that. So clause 4 says that yes, MBA is there. If I go to the regulation 53A3, yes, MBA is there, but we forget to look into few things. One, it says that from universities established by law or technical institutions recognized by the All India Council for Technical Education. It is not any MBA. Okay, understand this. So when I say qualifications recognized by the central government, in that case it is universities established by law or technical institutions recognized by the All India Council for Technical Education, then only MBA is is part of regulation 53A. If a MBA is not from a university established by law, if a NBA is not from the technical institution, okay, then in that case it will not be counted. So if I just show you the question again, now the question here, okay, it says that he's an MBA, perfectly fine, MBA, but does it says it is from the university established by law or technical institution? No, it does not talk on that. It talks on the here that it's not a member of ICI or any other professional body or whose members are permitted to partner with CA under the regulations. Rather, it do not talk about the universities or the institutes recognized by the Tech Council of in All India Council of Technical Education. So I cannot count this MBA first of all for the clause 4. So this is not part of regulation 53A3. Sorry, not part of regulation 53A3, because it has to be recognized, which is not. Now if it is not permissible by regulation 53A3, don't you think my clause 4 and the clause 2 will get attracted? Because number 1, clause 4, I have entered into a partnership. I was saying it was permitted by 2, so permitted by 4. But now I am first of all sharing the profits. Okay,
Yes,
sharing
sir.
the profit
Yes,
in
sir.
the
Class
ratio of
two.
40.
Yeah, class
Yes,
two also not right.
yes. So now here clause 2 and 4 will both get attracted. That's why I said you need to read the question word by word. Just we have a tendency just to focus on the word MBA. Fine, it is allowed, everything is fine, go ahead, done. No, MBA from where? Multidisciplinary yeah, partnership firm, everything later on. First we need to look into whether it is allowed by a regulation or not, or it's allowed under the act or not. Then only we can go and look into the scenario. Clear? Any doubt with this question?
No, sir, clear, sir. Even though he is a MPA and he got recognized as per the regulated body, that regulated body should permit to enter into CA.
Yes. But apart from that, as I said, MBA here it is not recognized. It should be MBA should be degree from university established by law or technical. Here in this scenario, it is not there. Okay. So clause 2 and clause 4 will both will get attracted. So if we just quickly go through the answer for this one, it is first we will specify the provision. Clause 4, we will talk about what are allowed. We'll say MBA degree should be universities and laws, a university established by law or recognized by technical technical institution of All India Council of Technical Education, otherwise not included in this prescribed list. Then we will analyze the question, qualification, not a recognized academic qualification, nature of partnership, and then we will conclude that yes, clause 2 and 4 guilty, deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct. Okay, this is how we need to write the answer. PSC approach, which is provision, analysis, and the clause. Always specify the full clause, name, number, with part, with schedule. So how do you go with clause, part, schedule, and act? CPSA approach to specify the entire clause name. Okay, any doubt? Now, any doubt before we proceed further?
No, sir, it clearly explained.
Yeah, see, in this scenario we say like not permitted by clause 2, not permitted by clause 4, but we did not discuss about clause 5. Why we did not discuss about clause 5? Why we did not invoke a clause 5?
Sir, he is not securing any business. He is not.
But where he is paying also, if he has not secured the business, where is paying also? He has also not actually paid any amount.
Okay, sir, he entered into the partnership, then he will get that client based on his experience and these things. But he is not directly getting any business to the partnership firm.
But for clause 2, he has to pay the amount. Okay.
Yeah, that is true.
But he has not paid. If he has not he has not got the business, he has not paid the amount. If he has not paid the amount, then why we are invoking clause 2? Like if he has not got the any business, we are not invoking clause 5. But if he is not paid the amount in actual, so no payment in actual. If I talk about this particular scenario, there is no payment in actual.
See, actually, class 2 and 3 and 4 is allowed to MPA. Though he can secure the business through the MBA as well, as per the regulation 53. So that is a reason it is allowed. So that is the reason we are not invoking class 5.
No. The reason is something else. Anyone? Here I'm not actually paying the amount. Then why I have invoked clause 2? And you are absolutely right. Clause 5 will not be there because I have not secured any professional work. So securing any professional business, if I would have secured any professional business, if I would have got any business, fine, it will be attracted clause 5 also. But here as of now it will not, because I have not secured any professional business yet.
Sir, he has agreed to pay, then also
Absolutely.
will be
Yes,
attracted.
very good question. So clause 2 not only talks about actual payment, it talks about agreement also. Agrees to pay. Partnership deed is your agreement to pay. Under partnership deed, when you enter into a partnership with a ratio of 60-40, they have a deed. This deed talks about you agree to pay. And that's why the clause 2 will get attracted. Clear? Very good, Khushi. Any doubt? I hope we are clear with every front on the clause 1 to 5 now, pretty much.
Yes, sir. Very much clear. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. If no further doubts, let's quickly take a 10-minute break. After the break, we'll gather back and continue this discussion on the clauses. Okay. Let's take a quick 10-minute break. Nisak ji? Nisak ji? Nisak ji?
निसर्ग जी ब्रेक स्टार्ट है.
Hello everyone, welcome back. Let's continue the session. Okay, so we have discussed till now clause 5. We will continue further for the clause 6, 7 and rest of the clauses. Okay. So now what we have discussed is till clause 5. Now one very important clause that we are going to discuss is clause number 6, which is, in like I prefer to take clause 6 and 7 together because they are somewhat connected. Okay. So what clause 6 talks about basically? Clause 6 says that if a CA, okay, if a chartered accountant in practice, if he solicits the client or professional work, either directly or indirectly by circular, advertisement, personal communication, or interview, or by any other means, okay, which is not permitted to him, which is not permitted to him, then in that case he will be held guilty of professional misconduct, deemed to be held guilty of professional misconduct. Now remember one thing, when I talk about directly or indirectly by circular, advertisement, personal communication, interview, or by any other means, over there I have the guidelines which says that if you particularly do the communication, advertisement, which is permissible, like in certain way which is permissible, in that particular case, yes, it will be fine. So this part over here, this has to be as per the guidelines. Okay, this part has to be as per the guidelines. And we will discuss those guidelines in a while, but yes, it has to be guidelines within the given guidelines or set of frames, rules which are given. Now, apart from this, if you are, there are two specific scenarios. If you are inviting work from another chartered accountant in practice, so if you are requesting, inviting, securing professional work from another chartered accountant in practice, or if you are responding to tenders or inquiries, okay, for securing professional business, professional work, okay, then it is fine, but for the tenders, I will add a condition supply. We will discuss what are the conditions which are applicable for the tenders. Another part here is that when I'm talking about securing, requesting, inviting professional work from another chartered accountant, I'm specifically specifying that it is chartered accountant in practice, not a member. So do not again confuse with the member over here. It is not the member I'm talking about. It is the CA in practice I'm talking about. So if you solicit clients professional works through advertisement, personal communication, interview, by any other means, okay, by any other means, in that way you will be deemed to be held guilty of professional misconduct, provided soliciting or requesting, inviting, securing professional work from CA in practice is fine. Secondly, responding to tenders as per the conditions is fine. Okay. Third, this circular, advertisement, personal communication within the guidelines is fine. Okay. So we'll quickly write the summary. Clause 6. Okay. Soliciting client through advertisement. Okay. Exceptions to this is applying to another CA in practice, or if you apply to tender, but that is also subject to conditions. Plus advertise as per guidelines. So if those things are done, then it will be fine as per clause 6. Otherwise, it will not be. Now we need to understand quickly what tender conditions are there. What are the conditions for the tender? So again, it is explained beautifully in the study material. Okay. So the tender conditions are here. This one. So when I did a star mark, you can refer back here, the star mark. Okay. So here is your conditions. Now what conditions are? So if you are a member of institute, okay, applying for a tender, then you should not respond to a tender issued by an organization or user or of professional service in areas of service which are exclusively reserved for chartered accountants, such as audit or attestation. Okay, audit or attestation. That means you should not apply when it is exclusively for the reserve for the chartered accountants areas, like audit and attestation. You should not, shall not respond. Remember that. So you are not required to respond when that particular tender is for the exclusive areas of CA. Okay. So now the question comes is that when then can we apply? That restriction will not be applicable if you have minimum fees on the assignment, or if there are areas to which are open to other professionals. So you can only apply to tenders where you have a minimum fee prescribed for the assignment, or it has the areas open to other professionals. Then only you can apply. So if it is restricted to the area of audit and attestation, you cannot apply. You can only apply either it should be a minimum fee with that, or it should be areas open to other professionals. Then and then only you can apply. Otherwise, you cannot apply. Clear? Any doubt with this, with the tender conditions?
Clear, sir.
Okay. Now we will understand quickly certain scenarios with respect to form of advertisement, soliciting work, or advertisement which is permissible as per the council general guidelines, or which are permissible as per the guidelines which are there. Okay. See, when I talk about advertisement, remember one thing: whether it's clause 6 or clause 7, the main and important purpose is that if you are doing advertisement to solicit the client or to solicit the professional work, if you are doing the advertisement which is in the nature of getting more client publicity, work, okay, like any activity, not even advertisement but any activity which comes in the nature of advertisement to solicit clients or work, or to advertise your name, your profession, your professional business, or your you can say firm, that will not be permissible. That will not be permissible. Always go on the intent, what is being done, rather than the words. Always go on the intent for clause 6 and 7. Is it in the nature of advertisement? Is it in the nature of something that you are trying to get and solicit work, solicit clients through advertisement? If it is so, then it will not be. But if it is something else, okay, if it is something else, in that case it may be falling under the permissible area. So generally, advertisement for soliciting work or advertisement for soliciting clients is not permitted. Okay, so that's the general rule. Remember that the general rule says that members should not advertise for soliciting work or for the for getting the clients. Now the things which are permitted, what are permitted? So things which are permitted is, one, you can request another charter accountant for professional work. That will not be counted as an advertisement. Okay, so these are kind of exceptions. So if you request under the chartered accountant, fine. If you give the advertisement for the change in the particulars of firm, partnership firm, so advertisement in the change of partnership firm or dissolution of a firm, fine. Change in the address, fine. Change in the telephone number or particulars, fine. But that has to be with certain conditions. The conditions are, it has to be, the area where the firm is. For example, area of distribution of the newspaper, where your firm is. Let's say, for example, my firm is situated in Delhi. There is a change in address in Delhi. Fine, I'm giving an advertisement. But if my firm is in Delhi, my address change in Delhi, and I'm giving an advertisement in Chennai, Mumbai, Bengaluru, doesn't make any sense. That is the nature or the intent you have to look into. Okay. Are you giving bare statements or facts, or is it something more to it? For example, like by saying that, okay, XYZ chartered accountant firm has changed address from this to this. This is the bare statement of fact. But if I say the best chartered accountant in Delhi with uh, 10 top 10 clients like this, with having area of expertise, this is now situated at this particular location. That is not bare statement of facts. So you need to make sure if there is an advertisement for the change in publication, partnership details or the address, fine. Provided these announcements should be bare statements, the area of distribution should be limited where the or should be appropriate rather with respect to the where your firm is. Okay, so exceptions are marked in red, and okay, so you can easily understand these are the exceptions. Only bare statement and area of distribution, nothing else. You need to focus on these things, then only allowed, otherwise not. Okay, then if it is an institute's newsletter, journal, fine, you can give it. So classified advertisement in the journal or newsletter of the institute, perfectly fine. For sharing professional work, perfectly fine, you can give it. That okay, for sharing professional work on assignment or seeking partnership, salaried employment of accountancy nature, fine, you can give it. However, again, over there also, you need to provide the factual information. You should not contain anything which is not beyond the bare statement of factual information. Factual information is factual position of experience, area of specialization, okay, relevant to seek the response from the for the advertisement. However, something which is a comparison, for example, best CA firm, top 10 CA firm, best in class. If that is the case, not permissible. Yes, Saminathan.
Sir, I have one query on the point number two. A member may advertise the changes of address. Say example, if the partnership firm is Delhi,
Hmm.
the changes of the major client are at Mumbai. Can the address change can be communicated in both the places? How, sir?
Okay. Now, if you have a majority client in the Mumbai, okay, the question comes is, do you need an advertisement change? That advertisement in the newspaper for that, or you would prefer, or you would require a mail to your clients that in Mumbai that the address has been changed. See, when I give in the newspaper, it is where the office is there, because if I'm shifting the office, it is required to be given in the newspaper if someone is concerned with that office. Not only the clients, but also creditors, banks, a lot of stakeholders are involved. But when it comes to only client, do you think they can they be intimidated through an email or through a letter which is directly sent to them, or do you need an advertisement in the newspaper? That's where the concept of intent comes. What is the intent? The intent is to only inform the clients, that can be done through the letters. But if the intent is to advertise in the Mumbai to demonstrate that the firm is there, to advertise the name of the firm, then it is not permissible.
Sir, my intention is not to demonstrate the advertisement. To see, since the majority clients at Mumbai, so giving the advertisement to let them know.
But in that case, someone can question that why not to send a letter or email to them? Why you need an advertisement in newspaper instead of personal communication? So that's the main question. If you can answer that one, means you have some reason, and that's the particular intent is different. But if you say you are not able to justify, that means the intent is not able to establish, and then it becomes an advertisement. If you're not able to establish the intent that it is not advertisement, that will become advertisement. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Then this was with respect to newsletter in the institute that we discussed. Then what is permissible? Application for empanelment. Okay, with the various authorities. So we also have a multi empanelment form by the institute. We have different empanelment forms or opportunities where you can apply for the empanelment as an auditor or for as a CA firm. Now, the only condition over here is you should be aware about that empanelment. You should be aware about the existence of such panel. If you are not aware about the existence of the panel and still you apply for the empanelment, that is an advertisement or a roving inquiry. It would not be appropriate for a chartered accountant to make roving inquiries. Like you are not aware, you are just presuming that it would be there and you are applying. It's an inquiry, it's not an application. So there's a difference between the inquiry and application. What is permissible? Application for empanelment. Okay, so the term application is not equal to inquiry. Why? Reason because application, you know for the fact what is required. In an application form, you know what details are required to be given, how it is required to be given, and to whom you are applying for what purpose. So everything is there. When I talk about inquiry, I presume things are there. I provide them the information. It might not be there. So when this is a scenario, it becomes an inquiry, not an application. Application is allowed. Remember that application is allowed, not the inquiry. Clear? Okay. Then responding to tenders, again already discussed. When it comes to responding to tenders, how you need to respond, the conditions we have already seen. Okay, minimum fee plus open to other chartered accountants or professionals. Fine. Okay. Then security deposit. So like security deposit basically sometimes required for applying for any tender. Okay. Now basically when you apply for a tender, like there are times when you are required to provide security deposit. So again, that depends upon what is the nature of deposit. A lot of conditions are involved, but it should not be instance that you have received a very you are providing a security deposit which is very big compared to the fees. Okay, so requirement of the security deposit is such a nature that if it is within the reasonable amount, fine, not an issue. Okay, then publications of books, articles, and presentation. So usually it is not permissible for member. Usually it is not permissible for member to mention in a book or article published by him his professional attainments, whether he's a member, whether he's a partner in a firm of a chartered accountant, whether he's associated or not with any particular CA firm or not. So these things are not required or not permissible. Okay, you should not mention professional attainments. whether member or a firm of charter accountant, whether you are a partner over there, it is not permissible basically. However, what is permissible is that you may mention the designation charter accountant. You may mention the designation charter accountant, but you cannot mention the professional attainments over there. Okay. So only name and designation is allowed. But do not mention any other things. Name of the firm and the designation, fine. But if you are associated with this firm, if you are associated or member of this particular firm or this particular network group of firms, if you have this professional attainment experience, all those things not allowed. Okay. Again, that too, remember, whenever I say which is the things which are permissible, you need to understand how they are represented. For example, designation charter accountant. Okay. So designation charter accountant should not be bold letters anywhere in your book. Like the first thing, charter accountant, this bold letters, very big something. Name of the firm is just as like title of the book. No, such things will not be permissible. Again, you need to look into the intent and the way it is given. Issue of greeting cards. The next point is issue of greeting cards or invitations. Usually not permissible, but there are certain scenarios where you can allow. That is, if you want to issue a greeting card, if you want to issue or invitations for marriage, religious ceremonies, okay, or opening of new office, invitation for opening of or inauguration of office or premises or change in premises, something like that, for new office or for different office, you can send. That is allowed. You can send to that particular extent, provided you send only to clients, relatives, or members which are concerned. You should not send to all the people in the city open ended. For example, let's say having an open ended invitation to entire city, publishing a newspaper that we are opening an office, you are invited to come and visit the office, something like that. No, that is not permissible. You shouldn't be doing that. Okay, always look into what is the intent. Here the intent is only to allow invitation to clients, relatives, and friends of the members, nothing beyond that. Clear? Any doubt? Any doubt? Okay, then advertisement for silver, golden, platinum, or sanitary celebrations. uh, Again, remember that it is allowed to a certain extent. Okay, so usually any event, advertisement for an event is not permissible. But for these events, such as silver jubilee, golden jubilee celebrations, may be published in the newspaper, provided you have a bare facts, only limited to facts, nothing else. Okay, only relative, only till the facts, nothing more than that. And it should not be the front page marking 50th anniversary of this chartered accountant firm, best chartered accountant in a particular city. No, not allowed. So there's a question: are partners, relative, and friends also not allowed? Partners, relative. Uh, can you, like, Pratik? Can you explain bit your query? Partners, relative, as in? So relatives are covered already, and friends of members are covered. If you see issue of greeting cards over there, we have said that okay, if you do or if you issue to clients, relatives, and friends of members, basically these relatives are the relatives of the members or the partners of the firm or the proprietor itself. So that is fine. Okay. I hope I have answered your query. Okay, great. Then advertisement for silver, gold, and platinum and sanitary celebrations published in newspaper. Just stick to the bare facts, nothing more than that. Okay. Sponsoring activity. Sponsoring activity means you are sponsoring some events. Not allowed. Usually not allowed. A member in practice or the firm of chartered accountant should not sponsor any event. So sponsoring not permitted. You are not allowed to sponsor any event. Subject to, there are conditions which, like, you can sponsor few events. Okay, so events organized by programming organizing unit of ICI, you can sponsor that. Okay, where you have a prior approval of the CPE Directorate of ICA. So if there is a prior approval of the CPE Directorate of the IPI or ICI, and if you are sponsoring an event conducted by POU of ICI, fine, not an issue. You can mention the firm name, you can mention your individual name or prefix CA in a CSR activity, but you cannot mention the name of the firm or CA logo on the CSR activities. Okay, in case of sponsoring activities, usually not permitted. That's the general rule. But POU, ICI with an approval of CPE Directorate, permissible. Activities relating to CSR, name and prefix CA, permissible. Otherwise, do not. It is not permitted. Advertisement of teaching and coaching activities by member. Okay, so advertisement by teaching and coaching activities by member. If a member is engaged in teaching and coaching activities which is in compliance with regulation 190A, and we will discuss in clause 11. Okay, in that case he needs to make sure that he is not advertising such activities so that it may impact that it is advertising the professional work or professional business. Okay, so teaching and coaching activities advertisement can be taken as an advertisement for the professional work. So there is a regulation 190A which is required to be complied with. It may tantamount to a indirect solicitation. So members in practice may, by advertising their teaching on coaching activity, may fall into indirect solicitation. Now, why indirect solicitation? From where we, why we are discussing the term indirect over here? The reason, because when we discuss the clause itself, clause number 6, it talks about two things, directly or indirectly. So if anything which is done indirectly, direct solicitation is direct advertisement. Indirect solicitation is advertisement in nature of something else. You are advertising something else, but back at the end, the intent is advertisement. If that is the case, then it would become an indirect advertisement, indirect solicitations of clients and professional work. Okay, so that is not allowed. Then hoardings, posters, banners, or any other means of advertisement will not be allowed, provided they are, like at their coaching institute. They can put at their coaching institute, but not somewhere else. So hoardings, posters, banners, any other means may put outside their coaching or teaching premises, like a signboard mentioning this particular details like name, coaching institute, contact details, subject thoughts. Okay, that is permissible. But usually otherwise, apart from anywhere else, not permitted. It will be liable for disciplinary actions. So if the hoarding or banners, posters are there, it will be liable for disciplinary action. But if it is outside the coaching or teaching premises, fine. Okay. Sharing of firm profile with prospective client. Now you can share the firm profile with the prospective client provided he has asked to share. Like if there is a specific query, then only. Otherwise, do not share. In response to a specific query, it is fine. Otherwise, not permitted. If he is asking, okay, share me your firm's profile, you can give it, not an issue. But when, let's say, for example, if the you have just met a person, you think it's a prospective client, and directly you are giving them the firm's profile without them being asked, without being them being asking. In that case, it's not permitted. Television or movie credits, again, you need to make sure the name is fine. Name of chartered accountant, okay, name of the member or firm of chartered accountant in inclusion is fine, not an issue. But what is not allowed is it should be not something in the nature of advertisement, okay, not made completely differently compared to other credits. Okay, something like full screen credit for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, not permissible. So it should not be made differently. Soliciting professional work by making wronging inquiries, we have already seen. Wronging inquiries not permissible. You cannot, make inquiries. Then seeking work from professional colleagues. Again, we have already discussed the things which are allowed in this. If you are seeking a professional work from a chartered accountant in practice, fine. Otherwise, not fine. Scope of representation which an auditor is entitled to make under 144 of the Companies Act. So what is this? Scope of representation. So auditor has a right to representation when he is not being reappointed. Now that right should not be misused to advertise. It's a right of representation, not the right of advertisement. Remember that. So the key thing here is it is a right to represent, not equal to right to advertise. Straightforward, simple. So it should be representation, mere representation, not in the form of advertisement something. Then acceptance of original professional work by a member, okay, like emanating from a client which is introduced by another member. That means if another member is giving you some client for a professional work, let's say someone referred you a particular client for a professional work. Now there is another professional work coming from this referred client. So the question comes is, can you accept that? Acceptance of original professional work by a member emanating from a client introduced by another chartered accountant or another member. So usually you should not accept this original professional work emanating from this client. Okay, unless and until this is directly coming, you know, unless and until it is routing through that particular member, you should not accept the professional work directly from these clients. Okay, so you need to ask the other member that should you accept or not, and then only you should accept. That means you should not poach the clients. Okay, no poaching. So if any professional work comes directly, it is the duty of the member to ask the other member generally with this original work. Okay, giving public interviews. Now again, it should not be in the form of advertisement. If you are asking or if you are replying to a specific question or specific set of details of factual nature, fine, not an issue. If it is not the factual details, problem, it's an advertisement. members or firms who want to advertise under box number, PO box number or something like that, you can say. Okay, generally not allowed. You cannot advertise. Like advertisement, it's not allowed generally. Educational videos. Educational videos can be uploaded, provided there should not be any reference to the CA firm. Plus, it should not contain any contact details or website address. So, if a member of institute, if a chartered accountant in practice, if he is uploading educational videos, no mention to the chartered accountant firm, no mention to the contact details. Otherwise, it will not be allowed. Clear? Any doubt with this? Whatever we have discussed under clause 6 of various form of advertisements? Any doubt? No. Okay. See, now clause 6 and clause 7. I say clause 7 is nothing but the extension of clause 6. Okay. If you read the clause 7, you will find it is on the similar lines, kind of an extension of clause 6. What is clause 7? Quickly, can anyone tell me? What is clause 7?
Sir, advertising the professional attainment service.
Yep. So, clause 7 basically talks about advertisement of professional attainments designation other than CE. Okay. It says that if you advertise your professional attainments, services, use any designation or expression other than the CA on professional documents, okay, there are exceptions to it. You will be held guilty, deemed to be held guilty of professional misconduct. So, clause 7. If you advertise professional attainments, okay, if you advertise professional attainments, or if you, okay, use any designation plus other designation other than CA, in that case, you will be held, deemed to be held guilty of professional misconduct. Now, there are two exceptions to this. One, advertisement within the guidelines. We have already seen under clause 6. So, within guidelines. Some portion already discussed in clause 6. Okay. Another part we will discuss now. Plus, when I talk about other designations, over there, okay, over there, I have recognized degrees. If I am using recognized degree in my name, that would be fine. But how, we need to understand that. Okay. So when I talk about professional attainments, first of all, we need to understand what is professional attainments. Okay. And what it means, how we are required to display if we are allowed. Usually we are not. Okay. So when I talk about professional attainments, is something like professionally you have achieved some award, some something with respect to, let's say for example, you have completed your 20 years of experience. You are awarded in some of the, let's say, there are certain awards which are for the professionals. So you are awarded one of such award. Okay, let's say CA and 40 under 40, 50 under 50, whatever those are. So let's say you have a professional attainment in your name. Can you use in the form of advertisement? Answer is no. You cannot. Can you use any other designation and expression other than chartered accountants in your documents or in your advertisement? Answer is no. Okay. So you should not advertise professional attainments or use any designation other than the CA. Plus, there is one more exemption given, that is degrees which are recognized by university established by law in India or recognized by central government, or it is a title indicating membership of an institute of chartered accountants or any other institute that is recognized by the central government or recognized by the council. Understand? One, what is permissible is a degree. Okay, if it is a degree of a university, you can add in your name. Second, if it is a recognized by central government, the degree should be recognized by the central government, you can add in your name. If it is a title indicating membership of the Institute of Chartered Accountants, you can add in your name. If it is the title of other institutes of membership, again it should be recognized either by the central government or council, then you can add in your name. Now, can anyone tell me what is the term designation mean over here? Where, like, if I talk about the term designation, so we need to understand few things. What is the designation? How we should, use the designations and prefix, suffix, something on that particular part. Okay, we need to understand this particular part in detail so that we can understand the requirement. What is designation? Okay, but before going to that, there is one more requirement. There is a section of the act which requires a person not to use the designation other than of chartered accountant. Can anyone tell me that section? There is a section, I'm just providing you also detail. There is a section of the act which stops a chartered accountant from using any other designation. Anyone? Anyone? No? Okay. So there is a section 7 of a CA Act, okay, which specifically talks about that you should not use any other designation apart from the designation of a chartered accountant. Okay. So you should not. If you can come on page number 19.33. So we'll go to 19.33. We'll discuss that section. So this is member in practice prohibited from using designation other than chartered accountant, and this is governed by section 7 of the act. Similarly, what we are seeing in the clause 7. So clause 7, section 7, you can easily remember that. Okay. Now what it says? It says that you cannot use any other designation other than the chartered accountant or any other description. Okay. So you cannot use any other description, designation in addition or in substitution if you are a member in practice. But if you are not a member in practice, but a member who is not in practice, okay, and does not use the designation of chartered accountant, you can use any other description. So in that case, other descriptions can be used. Okay. Now, the question comes is, what is this description? What is this designation? What it means? See, when I talk about designations, when I talk about general designations, what are the designation is? Designation, that means chartered accountant, cost accountant, and all those things. Okay, those are the things as a chartered accountant and cost accountants. Those are the designations that we are talking about. Okay. Now, what is allowed over here? What is allowed? Allowed, the things is allowed adding any other description or letter to his name if it is entitled to the membership of that institute of accountancy in India, outside India, as may be recognized by the council, or any other qualification, okay, or any other qualification that he may possess. So if you possess any qualification, if you are a member of a particular institute of accountancy which is recognized by the council, you can use the description. Now, what is the difference between description and designation is, I'll show you. Let's say my name. So if I use Harshad Tekwani, charter accountant, okay. So this charter accountant that I'm using is the designation. This is known as the designation. I cannot say that Harshad Tekwani, charter accountant, or lawyer, or etc. Other things like company secretary, cost accountant, management consultant. Let's say management consultant. I cannot use these multiple designations. No, I cannot. But what is allowed is degrees. What is allowed is degrees. You can use the description to my name. I can use the description to my name. Either it should be member of any institute of accountancy, or it is the qualification that I possess. That means if I say that Harshad Tekwani, ACA, ACFE, or something similar. This is the associate charter accountant, associate certified fraud examiner, okay, or associate certified information, whatever. Provided these, the additional ones I'm talking about, should be permitted or should be recognized, permitted and recognized by council. If it is a membership, if it is a membership, if it is a degree, LLB, PCOM, then it is fine. So I can add these descriptions to my name, but I cannot add designations. So these are designations. Other than charter accountant, I cannot. I can add description, which is either in the nature of the membership or is in the nature of the degree. That is fine. Provided these should be permissible. Now comes the third part, which is known as a prefix. What is a prefix? Prefix is kind of CA, Harshad, Tekwani, like this way. Okay, this is a prefix. Or if I write CA, CPA, something like that. Okay. Now these are initials or prefix. These are also known as initials. Can I use any other initial with the initial of a CA? The question is, can I use any other initial with the initial of a CA? Answer is no. You cannot use initials like CPA on your visiting card when you are using initial like CA. You are not permitted to use the initials. Okay. So you cannot write CA, CPA, this one. No, that is not permissible. That is not. So mentioning initials is not permissible. When you are mentioning the initial of a CA, so you should not use this. Okay. So other designations such as member of parliament, municipal councillor, or any other functionary that you function, or corporate lawyer, something like that, not permissible. You should not use. But what is permissible, that is very important and we need to understand. So I'll go to again clause 7, because clause 7 specifies certain things which are permissible. So come on page number 19.57. Over there you will see a box, this one, sorry, 57. Over there you will see a box which talks about this one, which is permitted. That is, if you are a registered insolvency professional or registered valuer, empanel as an insolvency professional or registered valuer, You can mention insolvency professional or registered valuer on your visiting card and letterhead. That is fine. But otherwise, you cannot. Now, again, as I said, if the Institute of Accountancy recognized by the council is there, you can mention its membership. Okay, you can indicate the membership. Membership is usually termed after, like, for example, your name, like ACA or something like that. It should be a membership, but it should not be a designation. Okay, so these are certain ones, like South African Institute of Chartered Accountants, CPA Ireland, ICW, ICAEW. So those are some recognized ones. So if you are a member of these Institute of Accountancy, you can use their membership as an description to your name after that, but not as a designation. Date of setting up of practice. Are you allowed to disclose the date of setting up of practice on the professional documents? Usually, you should not. So you should not mention these date of setting up of practice. Why? Because it may create that it is so old firm. It may appear like a professional attainment. Okay, it may become indirect professional attainment. So that's why should not be mentioned. You cannot mention two designations, let's say as a chartered accountant, advocate simultaneously. No, you are not allowed to mention two designations simultaneously. Okay. Then success in examination. Can you mention or do an advertisement for the success in examination? Provided it should not contain any element of publicity or advertisement. So always and always look for the intent. Stick to the bare facts. If the intent is of publicity, not allowed. If the intent is to promote the name of the firm where he was article assistant or he was an employee, not allowed. It should not be in the nature of publicity. Okay. So if you have achieved a rank, or if you have achieved good success in the exam, fine, local newspaper do publish that. But that is not something, it should in the nature, it should not be allowed as in the nature of publicity. Now your name, address, school, local background, examination passed, few details can be there, like that is fine. Few details can be there, that he was working here, fine, not with respect to in the nature of publicity. Again, appearance in the electronic media including internet, we have already discussed in clause 6. Organizing training courses and seminar, again clause 6, we have discussed that in clause 6, reference to that. Size of signboard. Size of signboard. Again, remember in clause 6 when we were talking about teaching, we were talking about signboards. But again, anything which is in the nature of advertisement should not be allowed. Okay. Simple signboard, fine, for the sake of visibility. It should not be, bright, full of lights, attracting or something like that. No, simple, and for the sake of limited visibility, fine. Okay. Use of common CA logo. Use of common CA logo. Now there are logo guidelines. There are logo guidelines basically. Now these guidelines prescribe that how you should use the logo, how the logo should be used, what is allowed under the logo and what is not. Okay. You cannot change the color of logo. You cannot, change any design of the logo. There's a tricolor logo available that you now can use. Okay. Apart from that, there should not be any modification to the logo. So we will go to the logo guidelines, which is given on the page number 19.125. Page number 19.125. Wait a minute. So over there is a detailed logo guidelines are given. We will quickly go through them to cover these logo guidelines. One 25 over here. Yep. Okay. So basically, these are the colors which are already prescribed in the logo. So there is a font. There should not be no alteration to the font. There should be no alteration to the colors. These are the colors which are already there in the logo. This is a hex code, okay, of the color. This is a CMYK code of the color. Okay, so these are the CMYK code, hex code, which are required to be kept in a similar format. You cannot deviate from this. There should not be change to the logo. This is the correct logo. It should not be, background should not be changed. It should not, this, see, the color should not be changed. Change the color not allowed. Okay, tilt not allowed, shrink or distort not allowed, crop, sorry, like, removing the term India or something, making cropping it not allowed, rotation in any direction not allowed. You are not allowed to alter this logo in any way. The color palette, everything should be there the way it is. Okay, it is a CA in a blue color with a tricolor tick mark upside down. That is the logo that we need to use as a charter accountant in practice. We cannot use any other logo. We cannot use any other logo. Neither we can use the old logo. Remember that. You should not use the old logo. You should use the new one only. There was 1 year transition period given. Transition time for of 1 year was provided from 2023 to 2024 for using this new logo. In 2023, these guidelines were there. From that particular date, 1 year was given as a transition to transit to the new logo. Like, you might be already having a stationery which is already published, like existing stationery, signage, replacement board, and everything. So 1 year was given to replace that. But after the 1 year, 1 year is already over. Now you need to use new logo. You cannot use old logo. Clear? Any doubt till now? So we'll go back to the clause 7 that we were discussing. Okay. Signboards, we are done. Logos, we have already discussed. Use of logo, logo guidelines. Can we use any other logo apart from CA logo? Answer is no. You cannot have your own customized logo. Okay. Then, so this was basically with respect to the clause number 7. Additionally, on the advertisement of professional attendance. Any doubt on this? Any doubt?
No, sir.
No? Okay. If no doubts, then see, clause number 6 and clause number 7 that I'm talking about over here, they are kind of the clause where you basically you would say that they are more onto the side of advertisements. They are in the nature of advertisement, okay, and they are in the nature of kind of where you have more onto the dealing with the advertisement. Okay. Basically, also I will provide you one quick guide with respect to remembering the part 1 easily, and we will discuss this guide in the later also for rest of the part also. But this guide will help you to quickly remember uh, the clauses of the part 1. Okay, so let me share. Okay. So what this is basically, so this I have grouped the part one first schedule clauses. So rules on, or you can say clause on money and partnership, it is 1 and 4. No sharing practice, no partnership. So 1 and 4 is basically on partnership. Group 2, like set of 2 is uh, pay, accept, solicit, advertise. 2, 3, 6, 7. A combination. Okay. 2, 3, 6, 7. Pay, accept, solicit, and advertise. Then third category comes is before you accept, you must act. Act means ascertain, clause 9, communicate 8, and kind of contingent fees and threat avoidance in clause 10. Then the last group is do not compromise your cash. That is conduct clause 11, authorize 5, and sign your clause number 12. So this is how I have created some summary to for you to remember the clause easily. Okay. So group 2 PASA, that is 2367. Okay. On partnership 1 and 4. 1 and 4. Okay. Then act, that is 9, 8, 10. And CAS is your 11, 5, and 12. Clear?
Yes, sir. It's useful, sir.
Okay. Fine. Uh, so that was like quick summary that I wanted to have. Okay. Now further we will discuss more on to the rest of the clauses 8, 9, and 10. So we will take up the clauses 8, 9, and 10 now quickly, and then we will take up some more questions on this. Okay. What is clause 8? Like before we proceed and discuss in detail, what is clause 8? Can anyone tell me?
Sir, accepting the work as a auditor previously held by the another chartered accountant without
Mhm.
writing, without communicating in writing.
Absolutely correct. Clause 8 talks about accepting the position without communicating with the previous auditor. Okay. Accepting the position of auditor without communicating with previous auditor. Okay. Now, few things we need to understand over here is number one, when I talk about accepting the position, it is the position of the auditor that we are talking about over here. And when we are talking about communicating, we are communicating with the previous auditor. Okay. So we'll go to the clause for the quick discussion. So accept a position as an auditor previously held by another chartered accountant or certified auditor. Okay. Without first communicating with him in writing. So in this particular scenario, if you see, we are using the term auditor over here. Remember this. For this is very, important part. Here we are using the term auditor. We are not using the term tax auditor. We are not using the term statutory auditor. We are using the term auditor. It may include different type of auditors. Tax, stat, GST, every audit, which was held by the another chartered accountant or certified auditor. It may include internal auditor also. So if you are talking about the term auditor, if we are talking about the term auditor, it includes multiple auditors. So do not restrict to a particular set of auditor only, like for example stat auditor. No, it will include all the auditors. Okay. So special audit under income tax? Yes. Communication for all kind of audit? Yes. Communication in case of person who is not a chartered accountant. So it is recommendatory but not mandatory. But as of now, it is yes, a healthy practice you should do. So here the term uses with another chartered accountant. What if the auditor was not a chartered accountant or a certified auditor? What if he was not a chartered accountant? In that case, recommended, not mandatory, but yes, it's a healthy practice to communicate. Okay. Then you don't have any exception over here. Remember this. You don't have any exception per se. That means what may come, you have to communicate. There is no exception to this. No exception to this. Remember, always remember, no exception to the communication. Now, second thing, we need to understand what is communicating in writing, what that means. So, communication is required in a way where you need the evidence of delivery. Okay, you should have a positive evidence of delivery that, okay, we are communicating to you, and now we have a positive evidence of delivery of that communication. Then only we will say that communication is there. And how it can be either through communication through letters sent to registered acknowledgement due by hand against the written acknowledgement. You should have a written acknowledgement if you're delivering through hand. Okay. Acknowledgement of communication from retiring auditor through his email, but that should also be registered either with institute or last known official email address. And you need to generate UDIN for these on UDIN portal. Okay. Unique identification generated for these communications. Okay. So then only you will say that you have a positive delivery, a positive evidence of the delivery of the communication. Otherwise, it cannot be counted as a communication, complete communication. Okay. Second thing is what to do after the communication. Let's say, for example, you communicated and he said, no, do not accept. Then in that case, there are three scenarios where you can say, okay, why to not accept? One, pending fees. Okay. If there is a pending fees, you should not accept non-payment of undisputed audit fees. If that is the case, do not accept. Non-compliance with section 139, 140. If he identifies and if he says there is a non-compliance, you should not accept, not accept. Issuance of qualified report. If he was removed just because he issued a qualified report which was proper, you should not accept. But if it is the case where it's something else, okay, you need to understand issuance of qualified report is a subjective. Like auditor might say, I issued a qualified report, they are removing me. The company might say, we are removing because we did not like the service, not the qualified issuance of qualified report. So you need to understand what is the scenario. In the first two cases, it is pretty clear. Compliance is not there, not there. Straightforward, yes or no, no gray area. Non-payment of undisputed statutory fee, not a gray area, straightforward. Not paid, not paid. In the third one, there could be a gray area. Here you need to understand that gray area. Understand the actual reason and then proceed. It's a subjective. Okay, so always understand the actual reason and then proceed. But in first two, there will not be any gray area and you should not proceed at all. Clear? With this clause number 8, pretty straightforward, nothing complicated here. Any doubt? Straightforward, nothing complicated. Okay. Now, clause number 9. Can anyone tell me what is clause 9? What is clause 9?
Sir, accepting the appointment as auditor without ascertaining from the section 225 of the Companies Act.
Absolutely correct. Yes. So I'm accepting the appointment as an auditor, okay, but without ascertaining the requirements of section 139, 140 of the Companies Act. So if you do not check the requirements of section 139 and 140, then in that case you will be deemed to be held guilty of professional misconduct. Okay. So in that case, uh, uh, you need to make sure that you are complying with section 139 and section 140. Now 139 and 140 are basically the sections with respect to appointment of the auditor under Companies Act. Okay, so you need to make sure that you are making sure that the compliance is done for those sections. So it's straightforward. You need to make sure the compliance is done for that particular section. When I talk about 39, 139, it's the appointment of the auditor. 140, eligibility criteria. Even 141 is a disqualification. Why 141? Because 140 or 139 will require you to comment upon the disqualification. So I may write 139 and 140. I may write here 139 but 140, but hidden you have a 141 also within them. Okay. So it's not only, most of us we understand it's only 139. It's nothing further than 139 and 140. 141 is not there, but it is not the case. The reason, because when you appoint an auditor under section 139, or like when you appoint an auditor under section 139(1), at that point in time you need to obtain, as a company you need to obtain a certificate that auditor satisfies the criteria of 141. So 139 itself makes a reference for 141. Okay, so 139 refers conditions of 141. That means now you need to check 139, 140, 141, all the three. If you do not comply with 141, you will not comply with 139, clause 9 will get attracted. Clear? Any doubt? So if I talk about the procedure for appointment of the auditor with respect to the section 139 and section 140, it is straightforward. It is kind of a scenario where you need to comply with the certain administrative procedures. Sending a notice. Okay, if you are not appointing the retiring auditor, then you need to send in a special notice for that. You need to give a chance of representation to the retiring auditor. You need to send the representation, circulate the representation. If it is not possible to circulate the representation, then in that case you need to make sure that you read the representation. Okay, so there is a detailed procedure already given, and that detailed procedure is required to be followed for the either removal of the auditor, for not appointing, not reappointing retiring auditor. Okay, those procedures are given. You need to follow that. You need to make sure that procedure has been followed. So that was pretty much clause 9. Straightforward. It is linked to the section 139, 40 and 141. Any doubt? Any doubt? Okay. Clause 10. What is clause 10 then? Can anyone tell me what is clause 10? Quickly. Now, few of the clauses, they are pretty straightforward. Nothing difficult over here. Trust me. What is clause 10?
Sir, accept that the professional work by percentage of the charges on profit or contingent upon some findings.
Yes, absolutely. So if you charge or accept professional fees based on percentage of profit slash contingent upon event, upon finding of that particular event, in that case you will be deemed to be held guilty of professional misconduct. Means either it is percentage of profit or contingent, you cannot charge it. Now there is an exception to this, and the exception is regulation 192. Now we need to understand what is regulation 192. Okay, so if you charge, offers to charge, accept or offer to accept, it is not only charging, it is not only accepting, it is offering also. And in respect of any professional employment fees based on percentage of profits or which are contingent upon finding results of such employment, in that case you will be deemed to be held guilty of professional misconduct. Now regulation 192, restriction on fees, okay, it says that yes, you cannot charge contingent or based on percentage except for the following cases. Number one, in case of the receiver or liquidator, fees may be based on percentage of realization or disbursements of asset. In case of auditor of cooperative society, fees may be based on percentage upon paid up capital or gross income or whatever, the basis is there, working capital. In case of a valuer, the fees may be percentage of valued value of property. In case of management consultancy service, it may be percentage based on that contingent upon that finding, which is the case in the scenario of management consultancy service for which you are giving the service. Okay, and that should be decided by the resolution from the council from time to time. It should not be any management consultancy service. So management consultancy service which is allowed, which is decided by council. Fundraising service may be the percentage based on fund raised. Debt recovery service based on the percentage of debt recovered. Cost optimization service, fees based on the percentage of benefit derived. Okay, and one any other service or audit as may be decided by council. In that there are two. One is acting as an insolvency professional, and second is a non-assurance service to non-audit client. In this scenario, when I say non-assurance service to non-audit client, the percentage of profit or contingent conditions of this rule or this clause does not apply. That means you can charge. That means it is allowed for you to charge. Clear? Any doubt till now? Any doubt? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So what we do is, let's take some questions. I have some specific MCQs to discuss, and then that will really help us to understand the topic. Okay. Let's take a MCQ to discuss. Okay. So we'll go through the MCQ itself.
CA. Rajan is the statutory auditor of Dynamic Motors Limited for the FY 2023 to 24. Dynamic Motors Limited holds a 25% equity stake in a newly formed joint venture company, Future Mobility Solutions PVT Limited, which it uses for its research and development activities. During the finalization of the audit, the engagement team discovered that CA. Rajan's father is a director in a company named Precision Parts Limited. Furthermore, Precision Parts Limited holds a 30% equity shareholding in Future Mobility Solutions PVT Limited CA. Rajan was aware of his father's directorship but was not directly involved in the investment decisions of Precision Parts Limited. The audit report on the financial statements of Dynamic Motors Limited was signed by CA. Rajan without mentioning his father's relationship with Precision Parts Limited and its subsequent investment in the joint venture. With reference to the Chartered Accountants Act, 1949, is CA. Rajan guilty of professional misconduct?
So before going to the particular options, read the question, take a minute, and then try to answer without going to the options. Because we need to understand first and then we'll go to the options. Take a minute, read the question and then try to answer. Okay, tell me. So what do you think is the correct answer? What is the correct, scenario answer over here? Like, is he guilty of professional misconduct or not? Is he guilty or not? Yes, no, yes.
Yes, sir. Guilty, sir.
And why so? If yes, then why so? If yes, then why so? Quickly.
Sir, class 9 is talks about that without ascertaining the requirement of that section 225, which means as per section 141, disqualification to be ascertained.
Hmm. So is it Mr. Rajan, CA Rajan is disqualified in this scenario?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes,
Is he
he is.
disqualified?
Yes, sir. He is disqualified.
Very good. Yes, Pratik. Yes, Samanathan. Here, Mr. Rajan, CA Rajan is disqualified because of a particular clause which talks about a person or his relative or his partner is holding security. Okay, there is a limit for the security in that scenario prescribed, but here they are talking about equity stake of percentage. Okay, plus it talks about a person or a relative is a director or employment of the company or a director of a key managerial personnel, plus it covers its subsidiary and it covers its associate companies, plus it also covers like where it comes to directly or indirectly under section 144, it refers to the definition of 141, it refers to the 144 definition for the directly and indirectly. It's a very wide in that scenario. Okay, so in that particular case here, it is disqualified, it is not eligible to be a auditor in case of dynamic motors. Now as a result, he is disqualified from being appointed. Now tell me, based on the given options, what is the correct option? Based on the given option, what is the correct option over here? Read the option and then try to answer.
D, sir.
Absolutely correct. D reason because option A says not guilty, which is not correct. Option B talks about guilty of misconduct, but under clause 4. Clause 4 is something else. We have already discussed. Option C says no, not guilty. Again incorrect. Option D, it says it's guilty under clause 9 that we just now discussed. So option D is the correct one. Clear? Any doubt with this? Any doubt? Okay. If no doubts, let us take one more MCQ. First, we will discuss the question as usual, and then we will try to solve we'll go to the options. So I'll quickly read the question for you. CAPA was appointed as the statutory auditor of Alpha Limited for FY 23-24. The previous year auditor was CA Ramesh. On 15th July 2024, CA Priya sent a communication letter regarding her appointment to CA Ramesh registered office address via a reputable courier service that provided online tracking. The online tracking confirmed that the letter was delivered on 16 July 2024. Having received no response from CA Ramesh by 25th July 2024, CA Priya sent a reminder via email to CA Ramesh, official email address registered with the institute. The email did not bounce back. She also made a note of this in her working papers. The management of Alpha was keen on finalizing the tax audit report by the end of July. Pressured by the deadline and believing she has exercised sufficient due diligence, CA Priya formally accepted the audit engagement on 28 July 2024 and commenced the audit work. On the 2nd August 2024, she received a letter from CA Ramesh dated 30th July 2024 stating that he has not received her initial communication and had serious reservations regarding her appointment due to unresolved issues with the management. With reference to the CA Act, comment on this particular scenario whether CA Priya has committed any professional misconduct. Take a minute, read the question again, and then try to answer.
You can show them options also.
Yes, ma'am. So here are the options. What do you think? Which is the correct option over here? Which is the correct option? Anyone? Remember, we have discussed that when you are sending a communication, you need to have you need to have a particular positive evidence of delivery, and there were methods given for that. For the positive evidence of delivery, there were methods given to that. If you follow those methods, and if you have enough evidence to demonstrate that yes, the delivery has happened, in that particular scenario, it will not be counted as professional misconduct. For example, communication by a letter through registered acknowledgement due, by hand against a written acknowledgement of the communication from retiring auditors while email address registered with the institute of or his last known official email address. Okay. Now, if you have a positive evidence of delivery, see, in today you might not have a registered acknowledgement due getting back, but you have a online tracking confirmed which says delivered on 16th July. Okay. Plus, you also send them an email reminder to the last official email address registered with the institute. So you also have an email reminder for that. So first, you have a communication through letter with a positive evidence of delivery. Second, you have an email reminder also, which is on the last email address registered with the institute. Still, the email did not bounce back, and you made a note of the same that the email was delivered. So email was also delivered, letter was also delivered. You have the positive evidence of delivery in the current scenario. As a result, there will not be a violation. You have communicated. Now the thing comes is that initial letter did not receive, but here it was delivered. Plus, it was delivered to the registered office address. Registered. It is not something the office address which was not some other office address. It was registered office address. Plus, it was official email ID. In this scenario, CA Priya is not liable for professional misconduct. She has not committed any professional misconduct. So the answer will be no. The answer will be no. So B option and D options are incorrect. We need to understand which is the correct option from A and C. So A talks about she waited for a reasonable period, sent a reminder, used a reliable method. And here, if you see with the given dates, 15th July was the date when first letter was sent. 25th July was the date when the reminder was sent. On 28th July, after not receiving, she accepted. So she waited for the reasonable period of time. In option number C, it's saying that it's sent to correct address. Subsequent non-receipt or late reply from the previous auditor does not make incoming auditor guilty of professional misconduct. It is not the same. Okay. Here it is not the subsequent non-receipt or late reply. It is about the sending the reminder, waiting for a reasonable period, and maintaining the records of the positive evidence of delivery. As a result, option A is correct, not option C. It is not about the non-receipt or the late reply. Okay. Here the responsibility is not to only ensure the communication is sent. Here the responsibility is to make sure you have a positive evidence of delivery available in your hand. It's not about sending the communication, it's about the positive delivery. That's why C option is not correct. Option number A is correct in the current scenario. Any doubt?
Sir, I have one clarity on this. Actually, that CA Priya sent via courier. Actually, in our things in the notes and the module, it's given only the positive evidence of delivery, communication by the letter sent by registered acknowledgement due. Point number one. Point number two is talk about the by hand written acknowledgement received, and also the via email address, the registered address to the institute institute or the last known email address via that their website. The thing is that on the first she communicated via that courier. Courier is not acceptable mode as per the module. That is point number one. Point number two, she reminded via email. Email address is correct only, but she reminded on the first communication whether they received or not based on that courier only. That is not requested through the she communicated via email also. Just she reminded it, but I feel that it is not tantamount to the effective communication. The positive communication is not there in this case.
See, here the reminder is there on the official email address, plus you have the evidence of the delivery. So the question comes is whether do you have the positive evidence of the delivery. It's not about registered post with the acknowledgement due. It's on the part of whether do you have the positive evidence of the delivery. See, the requirement of the clause requires that you should have the positive evidence of the delivery. Can you substantiate the positive evidence of the delivery? It's not about the courier or registered acknowledgement due. It's about the positive evidence. Tomorrow, if there is a change in the service, let's say registered acknowledgement due, the post office or the postal service changes the service. So will you say that no, now we will not send, the service is not even available? Always focus on whether do you have the positive evidence of delivery for that particular communication.
Okay, sir. Then that case okay, but the she have to wait for some period, right? The reasonable time. See, the thing is that on 15th she sent the courier, and 25th only he followed. She the waited for some times. That is not defined in anywhere in this module,
Yes.
I believe.
See,
Oh,
it is said reasonable time. Again, it is reasonable time. Now, what is reasonable time may depend upon the assignment to assignment. What are the due dates? What is the timeline to submit the report? What are the circumstances over here? So all those things make up a reasonable timeline. So if you have to comment, like say it is not a reasonable timeline, you need to something, have a responsibility to prove that okay, it was not reasonable. If I'm waiting for a week or if I'm waiting for a few days and I'm saying it is reasonable, then the what you can say burden of proof lies on that to prove that it is not reasonable based on the given circumstances.
okay, sir.
Yeah. Any doubt till now? Any doubt? Any questions? No questions. See, I would recommend everyone to practice as much as you can, to read the sections, to read the study material as much as you can, so that you can understand what we are discussing. If you read the clause, if you do practice, you will come up with a doubt. You will definitely have doubts. You can ask those doubts over here. Okay. So please make sure you read and you practice. That is really important in this scenario. Again, last, any doubt before we proceed? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. Uh, just a minute. Just give me a minute. So what we are going to do now is, for the next session, I'm going to provide you that please read rest of the clauses which are there so that we can discuss schedule 2. Okay. Sorry, second schedule. And then we will take up some of the part from the provisions of the Charter Accountants Act. And accordingly, we will discuss the rest of the chapter in the subsequent session, which is I think on the Saturday. Just give me a minute. Yeah, I think it's on the Saturday, the second session on the professional ethics. Again, these are revisionary sessions, so we will be covering on a revisional level. We will be practicing more questions on Saturday about this particular topic. Yes, we have Karuna ma'am with us today. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Good morning, students. So once again, I'm here to talk to you. If you have any doubt, any queries, beta, you can definitely ask. If it's still pending, you can reach out to me through Ask Your Query feature. You can also call on 0120 3045 925, right? When the questions are being asked from the professional ethics chapter, do remember that you should be develop the habit to learn the clauses also, right, with the clause number, because if we give the reference of clause number along with the content, then it definitely matters. So please make practice to learn the clause number also. You can divide that in one day. We are revising 5, right? So today what Harshad sir has done, he covered first schedule, right? So how many clauses he covered, right? And you can subdivide it, and today you can practice of 5 or 6 clauses, and tomorrow you can, after revising the 6 clauses, you can do the remaining clauses, right? And apart from that, you need to write the questions also, the MCQs which are given in the case scenario booklet or on the portal, the question, descriptive question which are given in the study material in the form of illustration, in the form of test your knowledge question, right? Apart from the same, in the, if you read the text of the clause, you will find decided case laws also. Real case laws are there which are described in the same. So when you will be reading the same, you will definitely be getting in-depth knowledge, and this is the topic where you can get full marks. So for getting exemption marks of more than 60 plus, we need to study in strategic manner, right? And for that, you need to develop habit that yes, we need to learn clause number as well. After studying that particular portion which you have divided, you need to write 2 to 3 questions. Next day you will be revising the same and moving forward, right? So at least 3 revisions should be done, and next session we are having sufficient time. So it's on Saturday. So Monday and Saturday we are having gap of 5 days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. 4 days, sorry. And today also we are having. So on Saturday, you can come out with your doubts, which we will definitely be taking care. And in the next section, we will be practicing more and more questions. Right? So you, what I expect from you, if you can cover whatever is being taught in the class today and the topic which is remaining, because 4 days I think we can cover whole chapter, right? Because it's revision part now. So you complete the whole topic. So then on Saturday, you can ask your doubts also. Do remember, this is very important chapter, very interesting chapter. Thinking of that now, after this exam, we will be passed and we will be chartered accountant. So future chartered accountant, what we can do, what will make us guilty, right? Do's and don'ts are discussed in this chapter, and ethically what should be complied with. So please practice this chapter because it's very scoring as well. But do audit of your written answer also. So whatever you are writing, please review that whether you are covering all the part, because from professional ethics chapter, either the question is application and analysis based or evaluation and synthesis based. Means you need to read the situation carefully, you need to apply the provision and conclude the same. So in your answer also 3 steps should be there. One is provision and explanation, fact of the case, interlinking both and concluding the same. And if you are having case scenario based MCQ, read the case scenario, link it with MCQ and take the correct answer. MCQs, of course, we are practicing at the end of the session, right? So I want you to practice more and more, and till the next revisionary class on Saturday when we are meeting again, you should complete this interesting chapter which is having weightage of minimum 20 marks and maximum 27 marks. So with this, wish you all the very best. In case if you have any doubt, you can definitely reach out to us through Ask Your Query feature or 0120 is our landline number. So definitely we can connect and we can clear the doubts. But I expect from you as a homework, you cover the whole topic, and in the next session, you are through with this chapter. So when we are doing revision, at least for 30 to 40 minutes, we can ask direct questions, right? So with this, thank you, Harshad sir. Thank you each and every student for understanding and for making it live, interactive. Okay. And with this, thank you everyone, and thank you IT team, thank you support team. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.